Good evening! Tonight, we're diving into something truly special. It's called the Big Beautiful Bill. A name that promises hope but hides a labyrinth of troubling provisions. On the surface, it's a sweeping plan to streamline government and boost the economy, wrapped in patriotic flair. But beneath that shiny title lies a maze of clauses that could reshape daily life for millions. Tonight, we're going to wade through the legislative swamp and dig into the fine print. The parts they hope you'll skip. Because this bill isn't just political theater, its impact could reach your dinner table, your job, and the very laws that protect you. So grab a drink, trust me, you might need it. And let's uncover the Big Beautiful Bill's ugly little secrets. Let's start with food, the very foundation of our well-being. Specifically, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, a vital lifeline for millions of Americans. For millions of families and individuals, SNAP is the crucial difference between having enough to eat and facing the gnawing reality of hunger. It ensures basic nutrition and stability. Yet, the Big Beautiful Bill, despite its appealing name, proposes the largest and most devastating cut to SNAP in modern history, threatening to unravel this crucial safety net. The bill's architects and proponents claim that these cuts are a necessary step towards fiscal responsibility and a balanced budget. But the harsh reality is that millions of vulnerable people, especially children who need proper nourishment to grow, the elderly on fixed incomes, and people with disabilities who rely on SNAP for essential nutrition, will face the devastating consequences of having their already meager food benefits slashed drastically. The mechanism behind these cuts? It involves fundamentally changing the way benefits are calculated, making the already restrictive Thrifty food plan even more inadequate and unrealistic. As a result, families will be forced to stretch their already limited dollars even further, facing impossible choices at the grocery store. This could lead to grocery budgets being cut by up to a staggering 30% almost overnight, leaving families scrambling to put food on the table. The justification often given is that this will somehow encourage people to find work, but how can you effectively job hunt or focus on studying when you're constantly battling the pangs of an empty stomach? This isn't a genuine incentive to improve one's situation, it's effectively a punishment inflicted upon those already struggling with poverty. The potential human cost of these cuts is truly staggering, forcing parents to make agonizing choices between paying for essential utilities like electricity and providing their children with nutritious vegetables, leading to food banks becoming overwhelmed with increased demand, and putting children's healthy development and academic performance at serious risk. It's important to remember that SNAP fraud is actually quite minimal, hovering around just 1.5%. Yet that comparatively tiny number is being used as a flimsy justification to gut a program that provides a crucial lifeline to millions of Americans, helping them stay afloat. The only savings generated by these cuts are mere numbers in a ledger, devoid of any real-world context. These savings are achieved by callously offloading the burden of suffering onto those who are least equipped to bear it. Local grocery stores in low-income communities, which depend on SNAP recipients as customers, as well as farmers and other local businesses, will inevitably suffer significant losses. The bill's primary effect is to diminish the quality of life and create more hardship for the most vulnerable members of our society, all while ironically and disingenuously calling itself beautiful. This isn't simply a case of misguided or ineffective policy. It represents a profound moral failing on the part of those who support it. It actively dismantles a program that has proven to be effective in combating hunger and poverty, ultimately leading to increased poverty and instability within our communities. So, the next time you hear someone praising the Big Beautiful Bill, remember to look beyond the surface. Its supposed beauty is nothing more than a deceptive facade, masking a deeply flawed and harmful agenda. Underneath the surface, it's a calculated plan to make life significantly harder and hungrier for the very people who need our help and support the most. If you're already struggling to make ends meet, this bill cruelly kicks the ladder of opportunity out from under you, and then heartlessly tells you to somehow climb even faster, despite the impossible odds. It's not just a case of poorly conceived or ineffective policy. It's a national disgrace that undermines our values and betrays our commitment to helping those in need. After food, the bill targets your paycheck. The Big Beautiful Bill is packed with policies that shrink the job market and make life harder for wage earners. It's less about job creation and more about making it harder to find a job that pays a living wage. Key features include deregulating major industries, especially environmental and labor protections, Cutting red tape sounds good, but it often means gutting worker safety and environmental rules. The bill rolls back safety standards, risking more workplace accidents and deaths to save companies a few bucks. It also weakens labor unions, making it harder for workers to organize and fight for better pay and conditions. When unions are weakened, wages drop for everyone. The bill even incentivizes automation, giving tax breaks to companies that replace workers with machines. Meanwhile, it undermines the federal minimum wage, letting states set their own, often lower standards. The result? A race to the bottom. Lower wages, fewer protections, and more poverty, even for full-time workers. The job market becomes more precarious, dangerous, and less rewarding. Power shifts to employers, who can cut pay and ignore safety, while workers have less recourse. This isn't pro-business, it's pro-bad business, rewarding those who cut corners and exploit workers. The bill depresses wages and increases unemployment, which actually hurts the economy. It's like trying to make a car go faster by siphoning out the gas. The big beautiful bill creates a job market that's smaller, uglier, and more brutal for everyone but the already wealthy. Now let's get to the heart of the big beautiful bill. What it really entails and who it truly serves. Who really benefits from this legislation? Who stands to gain the most? Strip away the patriotic branding, the carefully crafted image, and you find a bill meticulously designed for the benefit of corporations and the ultra-wealthy elite. The tax code gets a radical overhaul, a complete transformation of the existing system, massive, permanent tax cuts for corporations, ensuring their financial prosperity for years to come, while middle-class families lose key deductions, facing increased financial strain. The theory is that these corporate tax cuts will magically create jobs and raise wages for the average worker. But history repeatedly shows that the money overwhelmingly goes to stock buybacks, enriching shareholders, CEO bonuses, rewarding top executives, and the creation of monopolies, stifling competition. The benefits gush upward, enriching those at the top, not down to the workers and consumers. For ordinary people, the backbone of our society, tax changes are smaller, often temporary, or come with a myriad of hidden costs and unintended consequences. Deductions for state taxes and medical expenses, crucial for many families, are capped or completely eliminated, hitting families hardest, adding to their already significant financial burdens. It's a reverse Robin Hood, a twisted version of the classic tale, stealing from the poor and middle class to give even more to the already rich and powerful. The bill is riddled with industry giveaways, favors and loopholes designed to benefit specific sectors, relaxed environmental rules for oil and gas, prioritizing profits over environmental protection, weaker consumer protections for banks, allowing them to engage in risky behavior without accountability, and blocked efforts to lower drug prices, condemning many to choose between medication and other necessities. Lobbyists, representing powerful special interests, write the language of the bill, and the result is a Frankenstein's monster of corporate handouts, a grotesque creation of greed and influence. The bill fundamentally undermines the very idea of government for the people, the foundation of our democracy. It's now a government for the corporations, crafted by the lobbyists, and designed solely for the benefit of the shareholders. Public health, worker safety, and consumer protection are mere afterthoughts, sacrificed at the altar of corporate profit. The audacity of this blatant power grab is breathtaking. It leaves you speechless. They're not even bothering to hide the corruption, the self-serving nature of this legislation. They count on the bill being too long and complex, filled with jargon, for most people to even attempt to read, hoping the shiny, appealing title distracts from the grubby, self-serving details hidden within. This isn't just one isolated bad bill, it's not an anomaly. It's a symptom of a deeply flawed system where money drowns out the voices of millions of ordinary citizens. So when they say this bill is for you, ask yourself, and then ask them, do you own a multinational corporation with vast global reach and influence? If not, you're the one ultimately paying for it, shouldering the burden of their gains. The bill doesn't stop at food. It casts a much wider net, impacting various aspects of our lives. Jobs, impacting the workforce and potentially leading to instability, and corporate giveaways, further concentrating wealth and power in the hands of a few. It goes after the rule of law itself, the very foundation of our society. One alarming provision blocks funding for enforcing certain court orders, effectively neutering the judiciary. That means Congress could stop the executive branch from carrying out judicial rulings it doesn't like, creating a dangerous imbalance of power. Imagine a court orders a corporation to clean up pollution, protecting our environment and public health, But the EPA is forbidden to enforce it, leaving communities vulnerable to environmental hazards. The court's ruling becomes meaningless, a hollow pronouncement with no practical effect, and the corporation gets away with it, emboldened to continue polluting without consequence. The bill's vague language could apply to a range of rulings, creating uncertainty and chilling legitimate legal challenges, from environmental to labor to consumer protection, undermining decades of progress in these critical areas. Congress gets a line-item veto over the judicial system, a power grab that threatens the separation of powers, picking which laws and court decisions to enforce, essentially rewriting the law to suit its own political agenda. This sets a dangerous precedent, opening the door to further erosion of the rule of law. If Congress can defund enforcement of court orders, it can effectively nullify any law it dislikes. What's to stop them from doing it all the time? What safeguards are in place to prevent such overreach? The bill also limits judicial review, a cornerstone of our legal system, making it harder for citizens to challenge harmful government actions in court, silencing the voices of the people. Agencies could make decisions that hurt people, knowing they are shielded from legal scrutiny, with no legal recourse, leaving individuals powerless against government overreach. This erodes accountability, fostering a climate of impunity within government, and opens the door to corruption and abuse, as government officials operate without fear of oversight. The right to challenge government in court is fundamental, a safeguard against tyranny and oppression. Removing it is a move toward authoritarianism, concentrating power in the hands of the few and silencing dissent. Supporters claim it stops activist judges, a common refrain used to justify attacks on the judiciary. But really, it enables unchecked power, allowing the government to act without constraint. The bill tries to rig the game, tilting the playing field in favor of those in power, knowing its harmful provisions will be challenged in court and seeking to preemptively undermine those challenges. Instead of writing better laws that address the root causes of our problems, it kneecaps the judicial system, weakening a vital check on government power. The economic damage can be undone. With time and effort, we can rebuild our economy. But damage to our legal institutions is much harder to repair, potentially taking generations to fully recover. Once court orders can be ignored, the very fabric of our society begins to unravel. Democracy is fundamentally altered for the worse, paving the way for a more authoritarian future. Finally, the bill takes aim at democracy itself. Hidden in its thousands of pages are provisions that undermine transparency, accountability, and public trust. The bill creates powerful, unelected commissions with broad authority, insulated from voters. These bodies can write rules with the force of law, behind closed doors, without public input. It's a shell game. Politicians can blame the commission for unpopular decisions. The bill expands government secrecy, allowing agencies to classify information for vague reasons like economic stability. This makes it harder for journalists and the public to know what's really happening. It also weakens the Freedom of Information Act, adding new exemptions and higher fees, blunting a key tool for holding government accountable. A government that operates in secret is free to be corrupt and incompetent. The bill further deregulates campaign finance, allowing more anonymous money to flood elections. Combine secret government, unaccountable commissions, and dark money, and you don't have a democracy, you have an oligarchy with democratic window dressing. The big beautiful bill isn't just about policy, it's about restructuring the relationship between people and government, concentrating power in the hands of the few. The bill's name is the most cynical part. It's a lure, hiding the real danger in the fine print. Next time you see a politician touting the big beautiful bill, remember, it's a Trojan horse, filled with lobbyists and a future that's less fair and less democratic. So there you have it. The big, beautiful bill, laid bare for all to see, in all its not-so-beautiful reality. It slashes vital food assistance, destabilizes jobs and hurts working families, rewards corporations handsomely, undermines the very foundation of the law, and chips away at the heart of our democracy. The complexity is deliberately designed to make you tune out. But that's exactly what they want from you. Staying informed and actively engaged is our best defense. Read, talk, and don't be fooled by a pretty name. The details truly matter. The price of democracy is vigilance, exhausting as it may be. What worries you most specifically about this bill? Let's talk more about it in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Stay engaged and stay informed.